Okay, so unless you're living under a rock, you already know that the United States and Israel already started attacking Iran. What I didn't expect was neighboring countries to also be hit as well. What you're looking at right now is the Burj Khalifa, and it's the tallest building in the world, and there was a drone or missile attack not too far away from it. I've been to Dubai once before, and I know that area is a real big tourist spot. The Dubai Mall is not too far away. But not only that, the Burj Al Arab, as well as the airport, also was under attack as well. It just seems a little bit more real when you've actually been there and you're seeing these photos and videos of places that you've been to and they're under attack. But I'm not going to talk about this in this video. There's plenty of other content creators as well as news that you can check up on what's going on. But what I want to talk about in this video is an article that one of our channel friends actually sent over to me. And it's from an organization called Unite Here, which I believe is a hospitality union in the United States. And they have a report here titled, How U.S. Immigration Policy is Harming the Hospitality Sector. Now, I'm not going to 100% agree with that title. It should say, How the U.S. Immigration Policy and the idiot in the White House are harming the hospitality sector. But close enough. But the article does have some good information. It does have the typical charts that we've seen, decreases in 2025 and things like that. But what I really wanted to show you are the hospitality workers who are seeing the decrease on a daily basis. Their opinion means more to me than the tourism executives or the government officials saying that everything is okay. What you're seeing on the screen right now are 2 hospitality workers in Washington, D.C. And I also have other case studies from workers that are in Miami, Las Vegas, as well as Seattle. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you all of this. So make sure you stick around to see every single one of them, because their opinions are going to be drastically different than what these tourism officials and government officials say, and I trust these guys a lot more. The backdrop for today's video came from my mom, and she took this photo at Barnett Marine Park in Burnaby, British Columbia. I'm going to guess this photo was probably taken last year in the spring or summer sometime. But either way, thanks Mom for sending this over. Now, if you're new to my channel and you want to hear more from a Canadian and international perspective without the US bias, make sure you hit the subscribe button below. Now, in the article's introduction, it mentions 3 things right now that are trending in the hospitality industry. Fewer people traveling to the United States despite the worldwide boom in tourism. Employment is down in tourism and hospitality sector. Hotel revenue is almost flat, growing at its slowest rate ever outside of the recessionary periods of 2020. But what I highlighted here is something that we don't hear very often from anyone in the US. It says, but unlike 2020, there is no global pandemic shutting down the country. Unlike 2008, there's no stock market collapse, eviscerating tourists and business travel. Instead, the US hospitality industry is suffering today from the current administration's policies and political vitriol. Now, we don't normally hear this. What we normally hear is that we're going through a blip, or this is just going to be a phase, or we've been through this before and things will recover. Those are mainly from the US tourism executives as well as the government officials. But this article comes from a union that has many hospitality workers that they're trying to protect right now. So the tone of this article is going to be completely different than anything I've showed before. The next screenshot says 2.5 million decline in trips by international visitors in 2025. I think it's kind of more than that. 5.5% or 1.2 billion decline in September of 2025 compared to the previous September. Travel trade deficit expanded to more than 6 billion. The travel trade deficit is the difference between what international travelers spend in the US versus what US travelers spend abroad. Now this is the big one. 98,000 fewer people were employed in leisure and hospitality in December 2025 than the same time 2024. 6.1% unemployment versus 5.4% at the same time in 2024. Now I don't want this to sound like I'm gloating about people losing their jobs, but I'm more focused on the actual indicator of 98,000 fewer people in December versus last year. And if there are less jobs this year, then that tells me that, hey, this boycott that the world is doing right now on the United States is working. Now this next chart shows the number of non-US citizen arrivals to the US, basically comparing 2024 to 2025. Now I'm not too sure about these numbers, because even the US media has reported higher numbers than these. I don't know if it's just going to be land crossings or if it's only air crossings, but I'm pretty sure these numbers are more. Now this next screenshot shows the number of unemployed leisure and hospitality workers, the change from 2024 to 2025. You can see I just mentioned the December, which is 98,000 unemployed jobs. And it looks like April and November are the only ones that gained jobs. I don't know what happened in October. Maybe the stats guy went on vacation or something. But either way, what I'm showing to you right now is a lot of jobs being lost. Now I don't know why, but I like the title of this section. And let me read out the highlighted part for you. Overall, the hotel industry is not doing well. Foreign travel is down. Group bookings are decelerating. And lower and middle income travelers are struggling. Everything is more expensive. They just don't have much money, and obviously travel and vacations are the very definition of what is discretionary. Now, I don't agree with this statement. Basically, what this Freitag guy is, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Basically, what he's saying is that foreigners like you and I, if we are in the lower and middle income category, we're not traveling to the US because we're struggling. Now, I'm skimming through this article because it's a very long write-up. But nowhere in this article so far has it ever mentioned the rhetoric or the 51st state or the disrespect that anybody is getting right now from the administration and blaming it on the lower and middle class income people and saying that we're too poor to come to the United States. That's why the number is down. It sounds like a cop-out. But hey, if this is what you want to tell your viewers to make yourself feel better, then I guess go for it. Now, what I want to do is I want to read out the case studies of everyday people that are suffering through this. And these are the people that are on the front line, not the tourist execs or the government officials or CEOs that are sitting in their cushy office. Now, I'm going to read these out for you because I know some of you are just listening right now. Greg has been working as a line cook at St. Anselm in Noma for the past year, after almost 4 years in the industry total. Working alongside dishwashers, line and prep cooks, he witnessed the first-hand economic effects of both the mass layoffs of federal workers and the deployment of National Guard and federal agents, including ICE, onto the streets of DC. The raids have targeted individuals regardless of legal status, creating burdens that extend beyond Latino workers and residents who face racial profiling. Even as a white man born in Alaska, the measures against immigrants weigh greatly on Greg and have only made work more difficult and stressful. A year ago, our weekends would have about 450 to 500 covers per night. Now at best we do maybe 250 as mass layoffs of federal employees and fear of federal agents discourage diners eating out. This has made my own job hard and stressful, especially during the occupation. There was an intense and palpable fear in the kitchen. People had family members who were taken. We all now jerk our heads up whenever we hear sirens, even in a city like DC where it's common. I've had to come in when I wasn't scheduled because of the increase of callouts among staff. We are trying to watch out for each other, but it feels like we've basically taken on a second shift due to this occupation and raids in DC. Now we have one more from Washington, DC. Rhonda has been working as housekeeping at a hotel in Washington, DC for 14 years. She's a public space attendant at the Marriott Marquis, which is next door to the Washington Convention Center. I've never seen anything like what we're experiencing now. With the Orange Guy administration's federal layoffs, business has slowed, federal workers aren't coming in for meetings, a lot of government contractors who used to fill our hotel have gone. As a public space attendant, I spent a lot of time in the lobby, and the foot traffic from international tourists have gone way down. We were even laid off for 2 weeks over Christmas. I've had to use so much more leave last year, probably 3 or 4 extra weeks, just to make up for the lost hours and paying my bills. The problem is, I'm burning through my leaves just to survive financially, which means I don't have any left when I'm actually sick or need time off to rest. I hurt my knee in the snow and just kept going because I was scared to use up more leaves. I'm worried because even using all my leaves, it won't be enough to cover the gaps in 2026. I'll run out by the end of the year. I'm just waiting for the president to finish up his term so things can hopefully get back to normal. Well, I wish you the best, Rhonda, and hopefully at least the government and federal workers will come back after the term. But I don't think the international tourists will be the same. Now, these next two I'm going to show you are coming out of Las Vegas. The first one is from Shayla Taylor. I've been in Las Vegas for 23 years, and I've worked as a guest room attendant for 13. I love my job, but right now a lot of us are worried. You can feel that the business has slowed down. People are spending less, and some of my coworkers who depend on tips are seeing real drops. Even 10% decrease makes a difference when you're living paycheck to paycheck. For working people, that affects how we pay bills, how we buy groceries, and how we take care of our families. The cost of living keeps going up, but our pay does not always keep up with it. Groceries are more expensive, gas is more expensive, everything costs more, and it feels like we're constantly trying to catch up. A lot of us are nervous about our job security, about our hours, and about what happens if things slow down even more. I'm also a shop steward, so I work all day and then still have union work to do. Some days I do not get home till 7 or 8 at night. By the time I get home, it is late, and you're still trying to cook, take care of the family, and hold everything together. It can be exhausting, but we do it because we have to. On top of that, there's so much chaos going on at the national level. It feels like politicians are arguing while working people are the ones paying the price. We just want stability. We want to feel secure in our jobs. We want to know that if we work hard, we can take care of our families and live with dignity. I am proud of being a culinary union member. The union gives us a voice and protection in uncertain times. But what we need right now is leadership in DC that understands what workers are going through, protect our jobs, and stop playing games with our livelihood. Now, if you follow my channel, you know I've done a lot of reports on Las Vegas, to the point where some of the news stations and even the local bloggers don't like me because I keep calling out their bullshit. But what I just read here It's something that I trust more than any blogger or news station is putting out. Because this person here is on the front line. Shayla sees that the visitors are down. She sees that her coworkers are also struggling as well, and their coworkers are also not getting as many tips. Okay, I'm going to be a little bit real here. I am a bit torn inside that I have to use this as a metric to prove that our boycott is working. Because essentially what I'm doing is I'm using these people's feedback to prove that our boycott is actually working. But then again, these are also real people. Now, Greg, Rhonda, and Shayla have not mentioned anything about who they voted for. Because if it was mentioned that they did vote for the orange guy, it would make it a lot easier for me. But I'm not going to generalize. I'm just going to keep it as is and keep a neutral stance on it. Now, we have one more out of Las Vegas. My name is Rodora Berry. I worked at the Flamingo as a master cook for 25 years, and I've been the culinary union member for 25 years, going on 26 this March. Right now, I think Las Vegas economy is not going good. Honestly, it's going to suck. There are a lot of layoffs, restaurants are cutting days, and schedules are being reduced. Some places on the strip are only open 4 or 5 days a week, and many other coworkers are losing hours. I think part of this is what's happening nationally, especially immigration enforcement and tariffs. People from other countries are scared to travel. And political fighting with countries like Canada is hurting tourism. Because of that, we are losing customers and workers are feeling the impact. Just FYI, Rodora, it's not just a political fighting between Canada and US. It's also because your president is threatening to take us over. I used to be a regular in Las Vegas, so if you're missing Canadians, I'm probably one of them. She goes on to say, gasoline has gotten a little bit cheaper, and I'm okay with that. But everything else is still expensive. Electricity is going up, groceries are expensive. Utilities are skyrocketing. We have to cut back on our budget, especially groceries. Before we could buy whatever the kids want, now we limit food, cut out sodas, eggs, and other items, and I even remind my kids not to waste food because it costs so much. I personally have not been laid off because I have seniority, but I still see my coworkers struggling with fewer hours and less income. Even if it doesn't hit me directly, it hurts me to see others affected. My husband and I own our home, but my children are struggling. One of my daughters pays $2,200 a month to rent a 2-bedroom apartment. Another has a mortgage of over $3,000 a month for a small home. Young families in Las Vegas are being stretched too thin. I think we need policies that help working families, lower grocery costs, and support local businesses. We need an economy that works for regular people, not just corporations or politicians. Now I'm going to read out one more because I thought this video would be quick, but obviously it's not. But if you want to read the rest of them, the link will be in the description below. Now this case study talks about Emilio, who works at the Edgewater Hotel in Seattle. When I came to Seattle, I started working at the Edgewater Hotel. I'm a housekeeper. At first, I was working 4 or 5 days. They started cutting my hours in October. I never expected my hours to get cut like this. My coworkers say it's never been this slow before. There was 1 month where I didn't get any work at all, not even 1 day. Sometimes when I come to work, they take rooms away from me and send me home early. I have 2 kids, one 4-year-old and the other's 10 months. My wife isn't working, so I'm the sole provider for the family. I had to find another job at an industrial bakery, but they didn't give me enough hours. Sometimes I work in 2 or 3 hours a shift over there. Now I'm looking for a 3rd job. I feel so stressed. I'm able to work, but I can't find the hours. The rent gives me the most stress. My rent is over $2,000. I'm so worried because I don't want us to lose our apartment. Food is one thing. I can go without food, but we need to have a roof over our heads. I've had to ask friends to loan me money. I'm worried about my kids. I want a good life for my kids. I don't want them to experience all the hardships that I did. So what's my takeaway from all of these case studies that I just showed you? Well, number 1, as bad as it sounds and as bad as it makes me feel, I understand these US citizens are going through struggles and pains. But at the same time as well, it does prove that our boycott is actually working. And number 2, these are stories that we don't really hear too much from the US media. What we will typically hear is the US media saying that they're just in a little, what do they call it? Phase or blip or a gully. I heard someone say gully. But they will never talk about exactly what's happening on the front lines. But for all of these case studies and the stories that I just read out from these people, I understand that you are struggling. But I hope your struggles are enough that if you didn't vote last time, you should definitely make sure that you go out and vote for the midterms as well as the next election, which I guess is going to be 2018 or 2028. Because as bad as it sounds, nobody internationally is going to be helping you guys on this. This has to start from within the borders first. Because the United States has a long ways to go to earn the trust back from the rest of the world. Okay, that's all I got for this video. If you found any value or agree with anything that I said, or you want to hear more from a Canadian and international perspective without the US bias, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button below so you're notified of my future videos. Thanks everyone, I'll see you in the next one.